P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirit, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Dag nabbit. Okay. Hopefully you guys are waking up on the right side of the bed today, or that's not a political thing. I'm just saying, hopefully you're waking up on the right side of the bed. Okay. Hopefully you're in good moods today, because we need that more than ever. Okay. There's been so much, frustrating times, a lot of divisive conversations, a lot of drama, a lot of people putting in their 2 cents, a lot of, people getting angry with each other. It just is what it is, right? Unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. All right. It is just the world that we live in, and we just got to get through it, because that's just kind of what life is all about. Right? That's just kind of what life is all about. So, here it is, though. We got a lot to talk about. There's a few things that we got to discuss before we go into the main topic. I know. I always say this, that this is not going to be a very long show, that it's not going to be a long show. And then next thing you know, it turns into a long ass show. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not going to be a long show. And I'm not joking. Okay. Just so you know. So please do me a favor. Before we get into everything, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Hit that subscribe button right here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Chunks of the show get cut out, put on the stuff. We put it on over there, okay, on the second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. So make sure you subscribe to that second channel, please, and thank you. Hit that join button hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out that Patreon that's in the ticker going across the screen right now. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Like I said, I know you guys don't believe me, not worth a damn. But here's the thing. It is not going to be a, 2.5 hour long show. We're looking at maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Okay, just so you guys know. All right. So hopefully you guys are all well. Hopefully you guys are all well out there. Okay. And here's the thing. We've been doing a lot of multi-tier, multi-realm Lords of the Rings in it lately, because that's just how the world has been going. Okay. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on in the world, and sometimes true crime isn't the forefront of things. You see what I'm saying? There are things that are going on politically that we need to talk about. There are big, huge moments that are going on. Like something that I missed and I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about just the other day. Israel did like nuclear size attacks on Lebanon, okay? And no, we're not going to dive into it and talk about it and all that stuff at great lengths. I'm just trying to explain to you. There's just so much going on in the world aside from true crime that we need to talk about, because it matters. And then sometimes the cases that we do talk about are true crime cases, but they're also just very heavy conversations. That's just going to happen. Shoot. Okay, so we talked about the Mello Austin Metcalf thing, right? That was very divisive. A lot of people very upset. Split the room, right? But then just a few months before, just a little while ago, not so long ago, well, depending on how you look at time, right? People were arguing and going, literally trying to rip each other's throats out about Karen Reed. And that had nothing to do with race. Zero to do with race. People were just going at each other in the comment section for what reason, but to just be like, I'm right, you're wrong. Right? Some of those people are saying free Karen Reed. Some people are saying lock her ass up. Right? Pretty bad stuff. Very divisive. Room was divided. These are the things that we are going to discuss. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So it's just life. And sometimes life is just not easy. Sometimes you just got to push forward. And that's just how it is. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, okay? And yeah, that case... The Karen Reed case, my God. This is the song that doesn't end. You know what I mean? It just doesn't end, right? But like I said, we've had our fair share of trials like the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, the George Floyd or the Derek Chauvin trial. You know what I mean? We've had plenty of controversial conversations, and it just is what it is. It's just how the world is, right? Carmelo Anthony happened to be one of them. Now that is done. For now, unless he gets an appeal, right? That is done for now, right? And now we move on to other topics and other things that are going on in the world. Let's not forget there's plenty of crap going on. It's not only just wars in Iran or the Carmelo Anthony trial, which is over now. There are other things like Charlie Kirk, right? Charlie Kirk! You know what I mean? Candace Owens with her Candace Owens ass. You know what I'm saying? There's this Nancy Guthrie case. So there's plenty of things that are going on in the world that we definitely need to talk about. And we are doing that today. So we got to get into this thing, guys. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Hear me out. Just saying what I got to say. I mean, I'm sorry. This show is going to have, we're going to have bumps and scrapes sometimes. Some shows, some months are not going to be easy. It just is what it is. Sorry. It's just the news cycle. Some things are controversial. Some we come together and we all laugh, right? I wish that happened more often than not. I will tell you that. But unfortunately, this is just how the world is. And the world just isn't easy. You know what I mean? And I really wish it was. But it's not. It just is what it is. Okay? I just don't like the racist remarks. I'll get off the chat. I'm not for it, and I keep it moving. Yeah, Lynn. I mean, I feel like that's just how it is, because there's going to be trolls that come in. There's going to be buttholes or as Ashley Banfield said, jackweeds. You know what I'm saying? And then there's going to be moments where even you guys feel strongly about something, and you make that comment in the chat that not everybody agrees with, or you have that unpopular opinion that you say, it's okay. It happens. I have a lot of unpopular opinions. Damn, I got a lot of unpopular opinions. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, just explaining that, hey, some shows gonna be easy. Some shows are tough. That's life, right? That's just the news cycle. And then I will say this too, okay? This too shall pass, right? That rough moment, or if we're covering a very controversial moment, we will get through it and move on to something else that maybe everybody agrees with, or maybe no one agrees with. You know what I'm saying? So again, give it time. These kind of cases come in waves, and then there'll be another wave of controversy. It just is how it is. Okay? Yes, this too shall pass. All right? This too shall pass. All right? Just breathe. It's going to be okay. Try to stay respectful in the chat. Let's be adults about things. because I'm assuming y'all are adults. So, and hopefully you guys are adults. All right. If not, go outside and climb a tree, jump on a trampoline, ride a bike, do some, I don't know, some make-believe or something, kids. Don't be watching this. All right. Go build some Legos or something. You know what I mean? What do kids do now? You know what I'm saying? Go watch Miss Rachel or Peppa Pig. All right. Or something. Don't be watching this. The hell? But from what I know in our sandbox here, in this family chat, we all grown. So let's just be grown and have a good show. So let's get into this conversation. All right. One thing is for sure, I got to share this with you guys because, you know, you guys had me thinking about Charlie Kirk yesterday. And something popped up. I didn't even realize this. And guess what? We got a Candace Owens. Candace Owens. You know what I mean? Because you guys were talking about like a musical for Candace Owens. A Candace Owens musical. Well, she did an exclusive interview, which I think is very interesting. This is just a preview, but we got to take a look at a little bit of this because I do find it very, very interesting. All right. What is the show called? Jeez, I hate when I do that. What is the show called? Sean Ryan. The Sean Ryan Show. Okay, so he brings on the Candace Owens. You know what I mean? Yeah. She is exclusive interview. We got to take a look at this. It's just a preview. Okay? It's just a preview. I don't know whenever they're going to be putting this out, but clearly there's more that I'm interested in than just the interview with Candace Owens. What I'm really interested in is the interview part about Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? You know? And her thoughts on Erica Kirk as well. So let's take a look at this really quick, all right?
Candace Owens, you're a political commentator, author, and independent journalist known for challenging mainstream narratives and tackling controversial issues. Over the past decade, you've become one of the most influential voices in all of media, building a massive audience through your commentary and investigative reporting.
And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Can I just say something really quick? Why does this feel like a Real Housewives of like MAGA? Like I know like Candace Owens is like done, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Candace Owens, he's done with like MAGA. MAGA. She's done with it. Now you got me trying to do a musical in my head right now, okay? The Candace Owens musical, you know? But here's the thing. And Candace Owens and the Great Charlie Kirk Mystery musical. Okay. I better go and get that trademarked before somebody else takes it. But here's the thing, okay? Doesn't it feel kind of like that a little bit? Does it feel a little bit like that? Like a Real Housewives of MAGA, but like now you're throwing espionage and intrigue and you see what I'm saying? Anybody else see that? This drama that's been going on? I know. I'm already giving them ideas, Focus. I know it's already done. You know what I mean? The amount of ideas that I've put out here, I mean, I'm sure somebody's picked up some of these. They're like, ooh, wait a second. So this and this. And what else did you say? This and this. Okay, we got a movie right here, guys. A multi-million-dollar movie. Wait for it. This is incredible, right? But doesn't it feel a little bit like that? You know?
Today, through your independent platform, you continue to cover politics, culture, and current events while questioning official narratives and sparking national debate.
I always try to approach things with just, what do I observe with my own eyes? And when I brought myself to being able to watch the footage of Charlie dying, the first thing I thought was that he was shot from below. I watched the friction of his body, and I saw that his necklace broke before he was hit. I always thought that was so strange. I was like, somebody explain to me why if someone shot him from above, his necklace would break first and whip this way, and then he gets hit. What happened was we got exclusively the car photos.
Okay, now hold on. I'm not sick. Okay. I will always challenge because I am who I am. Okay. But when it comes to Candace Owens saying the necklace breaks before he gets hit, that makes sense. I mean, what are the chances? I mean, it would be very interesting, but what are the chances of the bullet actually breaking the actual necklace before it entered Charlie Kirk's neck or chest or wherever he got hit, like right up about here, right? So again, like all I'm saying is like I know there's other people that are like, it was an exploding microphone or something exploded on him. It wasn't a bullet, so on and so forth, right? But if you really think about it, what are the chances? It's still possible. Yeah, I'm going to tell you it's a hell of a shot. It's a hell of a shot, especially from being elevated. You think about all the elements of weather and wind and all that crap, the angle in which he was from, the distance in which he was at, and he was able to bang like that. That's pretty shocking, surprising stuff, right? But again, did his microphone explode? Like, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense. The exploding microphone thing just doesn't make sense to me. But that's just me. All right. I digress. Let's continue.
The car that transported Charlie to the hospital. When I saw the car fix, first thing I said was, oh, that's so weird. Like, well, why is there black glass on the floor?
Tyler Robinson is the name that, according to multiple sources, is the suspect who is in custody.
Who is Tyler Robinson? What the fuck was he doing there?
I don't
Do you think
Tyler Robinson was there. I feel confident stating that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk.
So what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think Charlie Kirk, and then she continues on talking about like her getting fired from the Daily Wire and all that. What do you think? Do you think Tyler Robinson is the one who did this? Or do you think that he's the whipping boy, the scapegoat, if you will? What do you think? Whipping boy is a deep cut. Damn, I totally forgot about that book. But what you think? You think it's the real deal, Holyfield, or one fat ass fugazi with Tyler Robinson? The thing. Okay, now I know we've already talked about this ad nauseum, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Again, what really bothers me, what truly bothers me about this situation is that you have Tyler Robinson. He's up on the top. No one ever catches him going up to the top. Now, we understand that security was ass water as well. All right. He pulls the trigger. He jumps down off the roof and he takes off. Right. He's having like fries in a milkshake at a Dairy Queen, talking to his furry lover boy, his furry trans boyfriend, right? Saying, no worries, my love. Just sitting in a Dairy Queen waiting for 5-0 to get off my ass so I can go retrieve Pawpaw's rifle. Then I shall enter my vehicle and be back in your furry arms again. It's a little weird. Now, I will say this. It's still possible that he's just weird and that he's just, texting and just being weird. You know what I'm saying? Still a possibility. Okay? Just weird, right? Hold on. Sorry, I'm just reading something. I did not receive any message. I did not receive any message. Just so you know. I just read that just now. So, or, in the family chat. But here's the thing, okay? Just to be completely real, completely honest, completely real, etc. That is the part I find weird. I don't think it's impossible for him to be a decent shot, be a good shot, and pull the trigger and do what he did. I don't. It's the breadcrumbs that lead up to him being the one who did it. How the FBI has basically, displayed what they believe is the thing or is the red herrings that say that he is the one who did it. That's the problem I have. No, I'm not spinning off this planet thinking that, it was X, Y, and Z. It was Erica Kirk, not her physically, but I'm just saying it was Erica Kirk calling the shot, so on and so forth, right? Now, Rose City, he is not a marksman. I understand that, but there are plenty of people out here that are decent shots, that are good shots. You see what I'm saying? Shoot, here's another thing. Yes, he's not a marksman, but have you ever seen those this is going to sound insane. So just ride with me, okay, guys? 'Cause I already know some of y'all are going to be mad as hell when I say this. But just ride with me for a second, because this does happen. Rose City just said he's not a marksman. You're absolutely right. He is not. He's a kid, okay? He's a college student, all right, that has hunting experience, that he has experience with firearms. And there's a lot of footage of him with firearms and loving it. Going fishing, going hunting, going blah, blah, blah. And these photos, not the fishing part, but there's other photos of him actually going out. And, you know what I'm saying? He got bang bangs. He got pew pews in his hands. You know what I mean? Like gangster. I'm kidding, not like that, but hunter gangster. You know what I mean? Here I am, my camo with the rifle, with my paw and my bro. We're going hunting. Or we're in the middle of hunting. You see the mud on my face. We're having fun. We're hunting, right? But here it is. Hear me out. I already know some of y'all going to be pissed by me saying this. This could have been a very lucky shot. This could have been just as weird, as messed up as it is, in the underrealm of evil good luck. Evil good luck could have been worked out in his favor on that one day. Hear me out, though. You ever seen those halftime shows at a basketball game? Hold on. Just hold on. And they find a contestant to shoot a basketball from the middle of the court, to get that basketball from the middle of the court into the hoop at the end of the court, right? And if they get it, they win $100,000 or they win $1 million, something like that, right? The chances of them being able to do this is very, very slim, right? They go and they find the most unfittest individual they can think of. Come on down here, John. Take a shot at this, right? He takes the basketball. Oh my gosh, I haven't shot a basketball in years, right? Takes the ball. Takes the shot. He only gets one. It's the half-court shot. You only get one shot. Mom spaghetti, right? He shoots it. And it goes in with a swish. The entire place goes crazy. And the man is now $1 million richer. And the actual people who have to fund it are probably going, damn. But it's a lucky shot. Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So I know I used an analogy with basketball, a half-court shot with a guy trying to, hit a very small area on the body from very many yards away. I get it. But at the same time, there's still a possibility of evil luck being involved in this situation as well. Okay? Just think about that for a second. Think about that for just a hot minute. Okay? So you put that in there, you add that piece in there, there's still a possibility that this kid did this to Charlie Kirk. Okay? Still. It's the breadcrumbs that lead to his arrest, or actually that lead to his surrender, that bother me. Okay? Reminding you guys, mind you now, that boy done turned himself in. So I want to know a little bit more of why he turned himself in if he now is sitting here going, me innocence, George, me innocence. That doesn't make sense. Why would you turn yourself in only to say, I'm not guilty, I'm innocent? Make that make sense. So I want to know every right thing, and I'm hoping during this trial we will find out every single step that he took and every step that the FBI did in their investigation to pin everything on this kid so that everyone can stop saying one thing or the other, right? That he's innocent and that he's the scapegoat, and or oh no, he did do this. We can finally get it confirmed, right? Hold on, let me get this super chat here really quick. Nero Spicy, thank you so much for the love. Thanks for the content during my few days off before work at the summer program at the Therapeutic 6th through 12th school where I work as a speech pathologist. Thank you so much for the love, okay? I hope CO, Candace Owens, got good security. You know what I mean? Let me just, oh boy. Yeah, I'm hoping that she does too. Because ain't she pregnant again? Ain't she knocked up? You know what I'm saying? Mother loving knocked up. You know what I'm saying? Ain't she pregnant again? She's preggers again. Which, you know, congratulations. That's incredible. Incredible. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They just love to do that ooey ooey. That ooey. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. If they want to have 17 kids, have them. Hopefully you're enjoying doing it. You know, making the kids. Making the kids are fun. Making the kids is fun. But then after that, you got to make sure you raising them right. You better raise them right. Okay? So congratulations on her being preggers. Okay? Or with child. All right? Yeah, you clearly, if you procreating that much, you really do enjoy doing that ooh-wee with that person. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? It better be fire. You know what I'm saying? It better be fire. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, Ray. Woo! Woo! We had fun making you. You know what I'm saying? Baby came in wearing the snaps. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, you know what I mean? You're like, Ray. Man. Man, it was fun making you. Right now I'm mad, but now I'm thinking about that time we made you. Woo! That was fun. Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Black Lake, thank you so much for the love. If it was a pew, I think it was supposed to be the head or chest. Yes, I agree. I think he was trying to aim for the dome. That's just my personal opinion. People think the mic because of when Mossad used booming, exploding pagers, especially essentially blaming it on the, what is that? On the gas? Is that gas? I don't know. What is that? What is that emoji? I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry. No disrespect. I don't know what that emoji. The juice? Blaming it on the juice. Oh, I see what you said there. Now I get it. This is a juice. Okay, I see. Oh my God. Just write it out. Just write it out, man. I'm like, what? Do I need to bring out my bifocals? It's the hell? What? What is that? But thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Kelly's like, wait, who's preggers? Who's pregnant? Apparently, Candace Owens is pregnant again. But that's just another thing. So here's the thing. I feel like it's very, 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 very important, okay, that we take care of our, we keep our opinions to ourselves, or, we hold, how did we say this? We table our opinions for now until the actual trial comes out. Now, here's the thing. I also want to say this. Candace Owens, sure, she has her theories, but she doesn't have the inside scoop. The only person that would actually have the inside scoop would be any of the people in TPUSA, Erica Kirk herself, the investigators, the FBI, and all that, right? So again, we will see what comes of this trial. In fact, I will put up a poll here in just a little bit, okay? Legend, you know what I mean? I didn't know what that was, okay? On this screen, which is like this big, okay, for me, all right, reading your comments, I'm just like, what is that? It looked like, I don't know, from where I'm seeing it, doesn't look like a juice box, okay? Just so you know. Thank you, Legend. Thank you. All right. So, as I was saying, I will put up a poll. Actually, I'm going to do that here now. Why not? Why not? Do you think simple yes or no question. Do you think Tyler Robinson did it? There you go. Very, very simple question. All right. Let me know. Let me know. I don't know. It looked like a bomb with a fuse. A gray from afar, like from a very small. Like I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what the hell that is. Damn, I don't. Sorry. I don't see. Here's the other thing with emojis, because emojis, you got to put some thought process into it. You know what I mean? Unless you use them a lot. But for me, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of just no disrespect, no disrespect. But I'm just saying, you ever like try to send an emoji in a chat, or not in the chat, but in a conversation, like a text message, right? You and your boo thing or something like that. And you're just trying to be funny, or you're just trying to use an emoji really, really fast, but you can't seem to find it. So it takes longer for you to find the emoji than it is for you to actually spell it out. Am I the only one who's seen that? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Rose City just put up the poop emoji, right? So imagine if I'm trying to text somebody going, yo, I need to go take a, why would I even text anybody this? I don't know. But anyway, if I had to do a real quick text going, yo, I got to go take a dump, right? And I'm sending, I got to go take a, and then I got to find the poop emoji. Like, you know what I mean? Do I S-H-I-T? Do I type in poop? Do I type in excrement? Do I type in waste? Do I type in, you know what I mean? Do I type in poopy? Is it an I-E or is it a Y? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, sometimes when you're trying to do that, it takes longer for you to find the emoji than it is for you to spell the damn word out and hit send. You know what I mean? Cicada just said, oh, dear Lord. Okay, Cicada. She's like, Pascal, you press the magnifying glass in your emojis and type in your emotion. I know that, but sometimes doing that seems like it takes longer for you to actually find the emotion, right? To describe I feel a little bit poopy. You know what I mean? I feel like crap. Whatever it is, right? Takes longer for you to hit the magnifying glass thing or the search and then going over to the emoji and then trying to find the exact emoji. And you're like, not that one. I didn't. No, wait. Okay. How do I make the guy black? Is there a way I can make the guy black? Because he's yellow. How do I make him black? You know what I'm saying? Am I the only one? Instead of just typing in juice, I'm thirsty. You want some juice instead of just like the emoji? You know what I mean? Okay. All I'm saying is it just seems a little weird. Okay. Like, if you're texting your spouse or your boo thing and you're like trying to like, let's bang kind of thing, but you're sending out the ladies, you're sending out the or fellas, you never know. Okay. You're sending out the eggplant emoji. Right? But it's like you didn't do it. You don't use that emoji very often or maybe ever, but you're trying to be funny or trying to be cute or whatever. So you're going like, hey, we should get together, and now you got to find the damn emojis. You understand that, right? You got to find the emoji that represents the phallic thing, the eggplant. Then you got to use the water splurting. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some waves or something like that. You feel me? And instead of you just saying, we should get together and bang or whatever, right? Do the sideways samba. You find yourself spending 5 minutes trying to find each and every single emoji to tell them you want to bang. You see what I'm saying? All right, I said my piece. I said my piece. That emoji triggered me. that emoji triggered me. Okay, triggered. Okay. It's all laughs, it's all jokes, okay? Some jackweed, okay, is literally right now as we speak trying to speak sweet nothings to his lover right now as we speak, and all he's trying to say is he wants to get together and bang, but he's sitting there just looking for the emojis, and it's got to be perfect. You get one shot, mom spaghetti, or you might screw it all up, ruin the mood, right? Or she responds. She hits you up with emojis. And then now you're like, damn, I got to respond in emojis. How do I do that? So then you're in there. You're spending 10 minutes trying to find the right combination of emojis to keep her engine running, if you get what I'm saying. Making sure those hinges are nicely oiled. You know what I'm saying? Nobody? All right. I'm done. We should get in the car and bang, and then you're sending the emoji of the car and the eggplant and the water thing and the wave and the you know what I'm saying? And the emoji with the tongue out and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But you got to find all that crap. You got to find it all. And you're trying to do it quickly because you don't want it. You don't want her to get tired. You don't want her to get bored. You know what I'm saying? Because she could be sending these emojis to a whole other dude. You never know. You know what I'm saying? She might be out here. You know what I mean? She might be for the streets, but you're trying to keep it up because it's been a while since you've been laid. You know what I mean? It's been 4 years since you've been laid. You know what I mean? So you're just like, oh my God. Eggplant. How do you spell eggplant? You know what I'm saying? Nobody? Okay. One of the guys in the chat understands exactly what I'm talking about. Ladies, you do too. You're like, okay, do I do I send the eggplant emoji or not? I don't know. That might be a little forward. I don't know. He might take that the wrong way. What if it's not an eggplant? Maybe it's a wiener schnitzel. Is there an emoji for a wiener schnitzel? Hold on. No. How do you spell wiener schnitzel? Is that an I-E or an E-I? How do you, you know what I mean? Anyway, I digress. We got to get into more conversations, okay? But here's the thing. because everybody's asking this doggone question. All right. All y'all are like, what's going on downstairs? What's going on in this place? What's going on? Well, I got a new place. Okay. For those of y'all who don't know. Okay. For those of y'all who don't know. All right. Hot dogs with the bun. I'm done. The hot dogs with the bun. Okay, so here's the thing. Just so you guys know. And let me get rid of. Thank you so much for spelling that classic one. You Googled that. I guarantee you, you Googled that. You Googled that. You didn't just all of a sudden go, ooh, I know how to, ooh, eureka. Finally, I could tell everybody how I know I could spell Wiener Schnitzel. And then you did that. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. You Googled that. You Googled that. Classic. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare act like you didn't Google that just now. Okay. You know, for a fact, everyone's like, E-I-I-E. Is it schnitzel? Is it schnitzel? S-C-H-N-I? Or is it just an S-H? Don't you dare lie to me. Okay? Don't you dare lie to me. And then, okay, gay guys, like when you're giving out the emoji with the Wiener Schnitzel or the hot dog, is there an emoji with like 2 hot dogs and 1 bun? I'm just curious. Like, how do you know what I mean? Or is it just all universal with the eggplant, regardless if his eggplant is an eggplant or not? I got questions, y'all. I got questions. Moving on. only being Chris. Thank you so much for the love. So me and my hubby love your channel. I don't think he gets how chat works. So he said, can you text Pascal and tell him he should cover such and such case? I said, sweetie, I don't have his phone number. Just wanted to share. Wow. That is hilarious. It's like, hey, buddy. Hey, can you text this to him and say, cover this really quick? Yeah, you could always put it in the chat. You know what I mean? You could put it in the chat. You can always put it in the chat in a chat and in a super chat. You know what I mean? That'll get my attention for sure. Just so you know. All right. Tell your husband what's up. Keep fight that fight. Happy wife, happy life. Don't forget that. I'm dead ass. And start learning those emojis immediately because it gets weird. It's weird. Okay. So. What? Okay, I'm going to look that up. Holy crap. But really, really quick, because apparently we got some breaking news. So here it is, really, really quick, okay? I'm building out a new studio, okay? I'm building out a new studio right here, okay? And I could use you guys' help, all right? And I am less than $400 away from my goal. I'm trying to raise $1,000 to build the wall and, a little bit of this side wall and all that, because this entire place is unfinished. And all I need to do is build this area out, okay? So please, if you can, help out, okay? Please help out right here, okay? It is pinned to the bottom of the chat right now as we speak. I'm literally less than $400 away from my goal to at least get the first stage of this wall going, which is getting the wall built. Now, that sounds very Trumpian, okay? Gonna build a wall for the studio. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be huge. The most amazing wall you've ever seen. I tell you, it's gonna be amazing. So that is what I need help with. That $1,000 will be right here on this wall. So if you can contribute, some of you have been very, very generous, which I do appreciate. If you can, please go check that out. It's also in the description box. The link is in the description box down below. Please check it out if you can. That would be amazing. Check it out. Okay. Trying to raise some moolah and trying to get some things popping. Okay. So check it out if you can. Like I said, it's like for phase 1. And then there's other stuff I'm doing, decorating, putting things up and all that. It's going to be amazing. Okay. Can I give you deets on my vision? Yes, I can. We will talk about it. Okay. Soon enough. I have been meaning to share what I have planned in Patreon and also with members. Okay. So you guys can see what the drawing, what the makeup is. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you can, that'd be great. Something about Empire State Building. Is this true? Hold on. Whoa. Oh, Lord. So 2 people climbed to the top of the Empire State Building. What the heck?
They invoked an NYPD response. They've had to clear the observation deck. Now it looks like the guy is proposing. I mean, talk to me about what your experience is with social media motivating stunts like this.
Yeah, I think this is the basis of it. And just in your case, just general news coverage of things. This, again, has gone worldwide. It'll be on the front page of every paper tomorrow morning. This is something that, it's literally insane. I mean, this is something that again, they have their own safety, in their own hands here, basically, but they're endangering other people down below by doing this. And it looks like, as you point out with social media now, they may be doing a Facebook Live now or something with this. She looks like she's got a phone in front of her and they're filming and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and not only endangering other people, but it prompting this huge emergency response, right? I mean, this is a time when the city is locking things down for America 250, for Sale 4th, for the Taylor Swift supposed wedding at the Garden. And now we see one of the NYPD helicopters was deployed to tackle this situation. What's your response to that?
Exactly. Well, to me, it begs the question, how did these people get up there in the first place? What kind of security was lacking here to allow them to climb up here and, basically do what they're doing right now? This is astonishing that this could happen here. And again, this is one of the most iconic buildings in New York City, right? So it's almost impossible. And again, it looks like they're, filming or doing something with their phones right now. And I'm sure they've got something, out that they're broadcasting to people around the world right now with what's going on. So this is one of a kind. This will go in the history books, I'm sure. So now, is the police helicopter still near them? I'm just curious because we thought maybe they had talked them down, but it looks like this was their plan to. It does. Oh, I see the NYPD helicopter there, but it has sort of backed away a bit. Glenn, despite the motivation here, what kind of charges could these people face? Well, that's a good question. I'm more of a fire person than a legal expert, but I would imagine criminal trespass, public endangerment, those kind of charges would probably be brought against them. And again, if you look at, I'm not familiar what happened to the woman on the Statue of Liberty and things, but I remember again, Philippe Petit putting the cable between the 2 Twin Towers and crossing back and forth. And he was charged, but it was a unique ending to it that I can't remember what happened. But basically, I think the judge gave him $1 fine or something like that, and that was the end of it. But again, this is one in which, it's a lot different now in today's world and stuff. This could have been 2 terrorists up there doing something. Right. Yeah, you have to be prepared for anything. Get there.
Anything for the gram.
So now that they're on this sort of midway, this is not, we can't even call this a platform. It looks like some kind of open grate. Are you able to see, Glenn, from your screen, what's the way down now? Are they going to go inside? How do they get down from here? So. Yeah, I think it's on the inside there, and I'm be surprised. Actually, the one fellow, I think it's the man going down right now. Okay. We should be looking from the bottom up too, as well, because we might see some NYPD, emergency service unit officers climbing up towards them. That may happen as well. Now we see the other person going in there right now, and I mean, that has to be a lot safer than doing from the outside, which is what they were doing for about half an hour on the top of the spear. I'm still can't believe this is happening. Hopefully she'll just get back in there and they'll both come down.
I mean, that's clearly what they're about to do.
And Glenn, just for people who may not understand, explain what these sort of interior stairways are for. This is for people who would actually work on this, right? Work on the spire here?
Right. So there's two, I guess you could say there's two groups of people that will be climbing this tower. One, of course, is what you mentioned earlier with the signal transmission, right, for television and things like that, which is very powerful, as we mentioned. But also there's folks that are hired or maybe work for the Empire State Building that have to replace the lighting up on top there. There's several sets of red lights for aircraft. You can see two on that platform that just came off. There's one way on top where these people were before. So those folks have to climb up and down this, but they will have a very, very specific set of training and guidelines to do this. And I guarantee you they have security belts basically to hold them intact so if they slip or fall, they don't fall down. They basically are held to the tower itself. So these folks that are doing this don't have any of that, and they really run the risk of falling. I mean, they could even fall inside this shaft that they're climbing down right now. It's very possible.
And we all know the Empire State Building is a very tall building, but just to give you some perspective, counting the spire and the antenna, the building clocks in at 1,454 feet, 443 meters. It's the fourth tallest building in New York City and the sixth in the United States. So even on this descent, as we'll call it, this is not necessarily safe, right, Glenn?
No, it's not. And that's why I say they, for the really, very well trained and very well, confident folks that they send up there to do normal maintenance work and stuff like that, they will have all the safety equipment and the proper training before they do any of this stuff. Because again, this is a unique situation. That tower is very unique, and I can almost guarantee you, they've got some kind of training manual.
Man, I don't know.
To the folks
I don't know, JLK.
Right. The folks who were
crazy.
Exactly. These guys are not supposed to be up there. And as we were talking earlier, they have no equipment. They have no climbing equipment on.
Yeah, they don't have anything. I think this is the people from, there's a documentary on Netflix, right? There's a documentary on Netflix covering or following a couple of different climbers that do this kind of stuff. They'll do all this, like this extreme climbing, like, they'll climb like the tallest building in the world, or they'll, you know what I mean? They just go and climb these buildings. What I think is very interesting is he proposed at the top of that Empire State Building, and what they have to do to be able to get in there. Sometimes they are literally hiding out in a little spot for days inside that building before they actually make their move to climb to the top of any of the buildings. So I think that this is that person, or this is that group. Okay. And they do it all for like Instagram photos, or, Instagram photos for TikToks, etc. They love the thrill of this, and they love getting that high. I couldn't do it. Even looking at this makes me feel woozy. You know what I'm saying? But very, 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 very interesting, for sure. Where did it go? Oh, okay, never mind. I guess the message was deleted. So, yeah. Excuse me. Very, very interesting.
You can understand that, again, they have to go up there fairly regularly, the maintenance workers, to do the work to keep this, keep this tower visible for aircraft and things like that.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, we saw these two people who just went through a proposal on the top of the Empire State Building. No ropes, no harnesses, no safety equipment that we could see. They apparently climbed to the very, very top.
I'm going to go back.
Stayed up there for about 36 minutes and then climbed down.
The Liberty's National Park Service. This is
wow. They went
property.
To the tippy
I
top.
think these folks will probably face more stringent repercussions for this, because the city, the police department, and the prosecutors have control over all this. It's not a separate federal agency or like the Port Authority. So we'll have to see. But this is again very dangerous, not only for them but for responders. This look like they have any kind of equipment.
What is that
they
flag
secure
saying?
themselves, of course, as they climb things, which is part of safety protocol. You can see the red light that they're.
So just so you know, this is from a little bit earlier, okay, when this whole thing was breaking. They literally just, like, it's weird because it seems like the antenna that they climbed, it seems like they're it seems like the antenna is turning because they're following the helicopters flying around is circling around the actual antenna, and it seems like the antenna is spinning too, which is very, very interesting.
On there, the warning light for the aircraft and things. There's folks that have to go up there and replace those, but I could almost bet you it's a much more aggressive, safety protocol on actually ascending this tower. That I think.
No worries, Jupiter.
Since building this, during the Depression, built during the Depression, this tower was intended for dirigibles at one point, but they were going to actually have hooked up to the top of it. So this is, again, a very unique situation. I think these people have got a lot of attention now, probably worldwide. This goes on, and I think they're probably facing a lot of repercussions for this.
I mean, what motivates someone to do something like this, risk their own life? Cindy was able to decipher what the banner said: when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace, or something very close to that at least. But what motivates someone to risk their own life and to risk serious criminal charges to do something like this?
Right. So that's really says something, right? The fact that they're willing to risk their lives for some bigger message that they're trying to convey to people. I mean, the fact is that you're covering it, and again, probably TV stations across the world now are covering this. They've got as much attention as they
This
can
is
ever
crazy.
get, as opposed to something on Facebook or something like that. So that's, I'm a fire person, so it's really not something I really study very much. But so there's passion here for what they're doing. It's actually, this is insane what they're doing, of course, at the same time. So super dangerous.
And especially in these conditions, we see the flag blowing around. It's obviously windy up there. We can't even imagine how windy it is. And then you've got the heat in addition. This is just so scary to watch.
It is. And, I was surprised earlier you had, when we were looking.
Something tells me that these are the known, excuse me. Something tells me that these are the Netflix guys. Something tells me that these are the two guys, the two people that they were following in a Netflix documentary that came out a few years ago. I really do think that that's them. So, because they're known to be a male-female duo that do this kind of stuff. They'll hide out in particular areas, and then, they'll hide out in the building, and then when people are not watching, then they sneak in a little bit further, and they just slowly but surely just keep climbing up, getting up to the top where they can get to the final top of the actual building. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Interesting stuff. Let's see what's going on now. Now it looks like there's some workers up there.
Convince them to come back down. Now, a few minutes ago, we did see at least two, possibly three, but at least two police officers climb up into the area where those people were. There are now two police officers have climbed back down. We hope that would indicate that the people have expressed to the police department that they are going to make their way down. It's difficult to see because they're inside of the that structure, the supports for the antenna, exactly where they are. But as we go down towards this lower platform, there are two police officers there just above that platform wearing those protective helmets.
We'd have to imagine it will take them time to climb down, especially lacking any kind of safety equipment, harnesses, ropes. They've been up on that spire for about 36 minutes in the heat. That metal is going to be hot. We talked about the radiation exposure. I'm sure they're feeling weak, sweaty. So I'm hoping that that's what the situation is. It's just taking them time to climb back down. But right now, all we can see on the screen there, Jim, is what looks like a couple of police officers waiting at the bottom there. Is that what you're seeing?
That is right. That is right. And obviously, every situation is difficult as the police have to address them. We have seen what I would call similar situations where people have climbed to an area that they are not permitted to be in, and it's in a very difficult situation for a police department to respond to and address the situation, and especially when the people involved express to the police department that they're willing to come down, it makes it a lot easier in terms of how to handle the situation, but it still takes time. It's still a very dangerous situation, regardless of how easy it may have been for them to climb up. Climbing down can be very difficult.
All right, Jim, thank you for your insight. We are just going to talk on the phone with John Cleary, former chief broadcast engineer for WCBS. And John, I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this right now. What is your reaction to seeing this?
Well, these guys are a little crazy. Climbing up and down that tower, especially in this heat, it's very strenuous. It's easy to make mistakes. Doesn't look like they're wearing any harnesses. There's the potential for, there's a lot of RF. There's a lot of electrical energy up on that tower. There's potential for danger up there. It's something that we were trained to do. We go to classes for this. These guys are just going up to, do their demonstration, but it's not like you're climbing rocks. This is a live transmission tower. There's a lot of danger up there.
Well, John, it's Jessica. It's so nice to hear your voice. I do want you to explain a little bit more about that, because you, as a former broadcast engineer, we know this tower transmits radio and TV signals. What kind of training do you have to go through, and how dangerous is it inside this antenna tower that we're seeing right now? To explain that to our viewers.
Well, most of the time that the guys climb the tower, it's at night where they shut off the transmitters. There's a lot of FM transmitters up there right now. Most of the time, the guys, if they do have to climb live, they'll wear a suit that does reject the RF. Without it, you can get burned. And it burns you in a different way. It burns you like a microwave oven. It's not that it's gonna happen, but the potential is there. I'm sure by now some of the stations, the FM stations, might have shut those antennas off just to keep those people safe, the police safe, the rescuers safe. The training that we take is mostly fall protection, how to protect yourself from slipping off that tower.
Well, because what does it look like inside? We can't really see. So having been inside something like this, are there small rungs of a ladder? I mean, how are they able to climb up and down this thing?
At the base of the tower, there are internal ladders.
Okay.
As you get up higher, as that spire gets skinnier and skinnier, it's just rungs. It's like an old-fashioned telephone pole, where you're just climbing up rungs. But when climbers do it, when I used to do it, you had harnesses on. You clipped on to this thing every time. Every rung you went up, you clipped on. So you didn't, you could only fall 2 or 3 feet. These guys could go a long way down.
Were you shocked whenever you saw them at the very tippy top of the antenna that they were able to maintain a grip and not fall with zero protection?
I'm shocked that somebody was able to get up there.
Yeah.
The security at Empire is very, very tight. I don't know how they managed to get by their security up there, and through the locked doors, the locked gates. There's a.
I mean, that's what I'd like to know. How the heck did they get in there, past security and all that. Because if they can do that, then a very bad person can do that. Those guys are obviously out there just doing all that for the gram. They doing it for a TikTok. They're doing it for their social media, right? But this is pretty scary that they were able to do something like this. And it's potential, right? It's a potential for bad things to come, right? But let's continue.
45 minutes to get up there.
Wow.
It's a strenuous climb, you know.
Yeah. And John, as you mentioned, there will definitely be follow-up questions about the security protocols that perhaps were not followed to allow these two people to slip through. But having been there, how does one access this specific antenna tower? Like, where are they going to come down from? How are they able to get up there in the first place?
They access it through an area called the JJ level. It's all the way up on top. It's where the Zeppelins used to attach to the building back in the day. And you go through a series of hatches, you know, climbing up and popping a hatch open. But all of those are locked and double locked. Yeah, how they got around that is going to be there's going to be a lot of questions, I'm sure.
John, I'm looking at the screen right now. Looks like they might be with the officers now. Yeah, because it looks like a bunch of people rather than two coming down and two going up. I really hope this is the end of it.
But it looks like now they're climbing down into a lower sort of shaft of this antenna tower. John, are you able to see your TV where you are?
No, I'm out of the area.
Okay.
So apparently Jane just said this. Thank you so much. The banner on the Empire State Building said, when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. So when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. So that's what they had flying on the side when they climbed up the top of the Empire State Building. Interesting stuff.
Down to the observation floor.
But would you say at this point, John, because it is not open air right now, it looks like that this is a safer place going down?
Much safer. But yeah, they're on the inside of the tower now, not on the outside. And there's a series of ladders and stairs that come down the wider part of that spire. So towards the bottom, it's what I would call safe. Being up where they were before, not so much.
Can you tell me, since you all have been up this high, what it feels like when you're so high on the Empire State Building?
Oh, it's beautiful. Makes New York City look beautiful.
What does it feel like being that high on the building?
That tall, that high?
Well, you get used to it.
Well, yeah, but you also were harnessed in, right?
You can't be afraid of heights when you do this.
Yeah,
what would you say? I mean, I'm sure you don't go up there all the time, so I would think that each time you went up, your heart does, pound a little harder, because one thing goes wrong and
that's a wrap, son.
Huge fall.
Oh yeah, you check, you double check, you triple check, you say a little prayer, and then you go.
Okay, well, they're about to get arrested. I really do think it's a stunt for content. I mean, clearly it's a stunt for content, right? Yeah, hold on. Let's continue. Let's continue on.
There's a small tower there that we used to have a camera. Channel 2 used to have a camera on.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we're in the control room and we see somebody up around the camera. We're like, what is going on here? And we sent the helicopter up, and Jimmy found somebody hanging out on the tower up there. It's suicide. It's crazy.
It really is. So what ended up happening with them? They just came down?
Yeah, they got arrested.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation about what charges these two will face when they ultimately come down. And then the plot twist was, of course, that it looked like we had a marriage proposal on the top deck. I'm sure that's something you were not expecting to have on your bingo card for 2026, John.
Not on the tower, no.
So when you guys would climb the tower, is it one person, two people? I mean, for safety?
Oh, you always a minimum of 2. You always more than one. You never ever climb alone.
If we can go back out to Jim, if you can still hear me, Jim, I see you widening out there. We appreciate that. Are you able to tell as you're zooming in if the 2 intruders are now with police? We saw them sort of go down into that closed part of the antenna. Does it appear that they're now going down toward that observation deck?
It does appear that that is the case. We have not seen any more movement in this exposed area at the top of the antenna that we were watching, like as we were flying around. We could see some movement from time to time. We did see those police officers climb down, and it appeared the 2 other people may have. It was hard to distinguish that it was definitely them, but based on the fact that the police officers went down into that internal part of the building, we have not seen any more movement. It does appear that they have them inside the building, or at least the portion of the building that is inside. What would be normal in a situation like this? The police would, number one, approach the people. They would probably do a check of them to make sure they had no weapons or anything else on them, advise them of what was happening, and then give them protective equipment. You heard John describe how they would have to take classes and wear protective gear and the harnesses. The police department would have brought additional equipment for those people to wear to come back down. They wouldn't just rely solely on their abilities that they used to get up to the top of the spire. They would give them protective equipment to climb back down, but that does appear to be the case. We have not seen any movement. We're not seeing anybody else here within the top portion of the structure that's exposed to the outside. So it does appear that everybody is now inside of the building.
See them again once they have completed their descent, or will they just be going internally into the Empire State Building?
I believe at this point we will not be able to see them until they were brought out of the building at ground level. Everything else inside of the building at this point would be inside of the structure.
Okay.
That is the bottom portion of what is visible from the outside, if that makes sense.
And we're hearing right now that the climbers are in custody, which is great news. Jim, I mean, what is your take on this? You've been on this since this first started at 12:30 when you saw them. What was your reaction?
My reaction was that I could not believe that there were 2 people actually up there. We initially got word that there was a banner on the antenna. The last thing I expected to see was a banner on the very top of the antenna. My initial thought was that possibly somebody on the observation deck had brought something out, or possibly something had blown to the top of the antenna. But as we take you in for a closer look, everything has been removed, but that is where they were standing earlier, not only with the banner, but 2 people standing on those very 2 top rungs of the antenna.
It is actually very difficult to believe that they were able to get up there and that they were remarkably able to climb back down unharmed and still alive. The 2 climbers now in custody. They started their climb around noon today, ended with a marriage proposal. Let's go back out to Lisa Rosner. She's live on scene with an update, and police have just made this arrest, Lisa.
Hi, Jessica and Cindy. We are across the street. We are waiting to see what is coming next out of the entrance of the Empire State Building. We're here on 5th Avenue between 34th and 33rd Streets. Look behind me. Everyone here is crowded around to see what is going on. And if you take a look across the street, we do see tons of police vehicles. The emergency services unit is here. They are the police that do specialized operations like this to get people down from very complex situations. And I was just speaking with someone who was visiting here from England, and they were actually visiting the Empire State Building when this occurred. And I want you to hear from her in one moment. She says that there was actually a proposal going on while this climb to the top was happening. And I want to bring her in now. Julie, tell me what was going on at the Empire State Building when you were visiting.
We were right up the top, and I could see 2 people open the gate of the mesh. It was a mesh gate. They opened the gate and they went up to the top. So some somebody said, "Oh, are you allowed up the top?" And he said, the security guard said then, "No, nobody's allowed up the top." But because I'd seen them go up, I just assumed that they were allowed up there. So.
And were they wearing masks at the time?
No, they were wearing, no.
Okay, and after they went up, did you see the security guard chase after them?
No, because he didn't know they'd gone up.
No.
No, nobody knew they went up.
Okay, and you said this is your second day in New York. You were celebrating your husband's birthday.
Yeah.
When did you realize that they had gone to the top?
Well, when we come out and we could see everything cornered off, that's when we realised that there was somebody that had gone up the top, and I had seen them go.
What do you think about all of this?
Well, people are saying he's proposing, but I don't think, it's a very risky thing to do.
Right. And when did they evacuate you?
These are
They didn't. We come out ourselves.
Okay, so as this was going on, no one from the Empire State Building told you to leave?
No, because only then the police came and they were cornering everything off.
Okay, and Julie, tell us your name again.
Julie Morris.
And you're visiting from South Wales?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. What an interesting time to be visiting here in New York City. Thank you so much for your time. And I want to draw your guys' attention back to the front of the Empire State Building. You can see the ambulance doors are open. I don't know if they're getting ready to do something, but everyone here is keeping a close eye as we wait for these two people to come down out of the Empire State Building. Lots of police here, lots of emergency vehicles. They've closed off the sidewalk right in front of the Empire State Building. And you heard her say they went past security. The security guard told them no one is allowed up there. So we're waiting to learn more about how this happened. We've reached out to the Empire State Building for comment, and we're waiting to hear back. I'll send it back to you guys for now.
Lisa, is the person you interviewed, Julie, still there? I'm curious. I had a question for her if she is.
Where was she? Is here, but she's doing another interview right now because her account was very captivating.
Yeah, it seems like she saw it firsthand.
When she's done.
All right.
She's now very popular
All
here
right.
among the crowd
Yes,
because she saw something a lot of people didn't see.
Yeah, we'll check back in with you in a bit. I want to go back to John Cleary quickly. John, I'm not sure if you were able to hear Lisa's live report and the witness who just weighed in on seeing these two climbers bypass security, asking, are we able to go up here? The security guard says no. She says they climbed through a hatch. From what we heard from you earlier, though, it sounded like there were multiple layers of security that they were somehow able to breach. Is that correct?
I would think so, because that hatch is locked most of the time. We need to get the building guys to come up with keys and
is there a reason it would be unlocked? Sorry to interrupt. I'm just curious. Is there a reason that they would leave it unlocked?
I can't see a reason unless somebody was doing work up there. No, I don't see a reason for that. It should have been locked.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
We were just seeing that the police, it looks like they had met up with these folks. I'm just wondering how long it's going to take them to come down, because it seems like they just need to hit the elevator and then come down.
Yeah, but I'm sure they have a lot of questions.
Yes, I'm guessing.
We're not sure whether they'll do that there or if they'll take them down to the precinct. We also saw the ambulance because, as we had been discussing with Glenn earlier, that radiation is strong. They were up there for 36 minutes. Roughly in the heat and breathing in and absorbing all that radiation. I'm sure that a medical evaluation will be in order. But again, two people in custody after climbing the Empire State Building starting around noon today, raising a flag at the very top of this radio and TV transmission tower, the very tippy top of the antenna. As you can see, Jim Smith flying there to show you just how far up in the air that is. They were able somehow miraculously to stay up there for about 30 minutes before climbing down, met by NYPD officers, but not before they had a proposal. So apparently they are now engaged and they are also in custody.
And they get to go to jail together.
Yes, they
How
do.
About that? No, but when we were taking a close-up of the top of the spire, I think with them not there, it's so clear how thin that ladder was. I mean, just like little wires to get to the very top, and they were hanging out up there for a long time, waving that flag around. And again, the flag saying, when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. And then coming down and proposing and doing the whole social media thing with just ridiculous.
I think when we first started this coverage, at least I assumed that this may have been some sort of an activist.
Yep.
I don't think that I had any idea that this would be a proposal. John, while we have you, just one more time. I know you've climbed to the top of this tower. You are professionally trained to do so. But that very tippy top of the antenna, even though you have the harnesses, how difficult is that to get to the very top? With someone not wearing any sort of security gear, can you imagine how they would navigate all of those prongs?
My palms would be pretty sweaty with no safety gear. It's a pretty strenuous climb right there because it's just a free climb. You're out in the open. There's wind. There's the weather. Like you said before, it could be hot. That metal gets hot.
Right.
Unless they were wearing gloves, I didn't really see what they were wearing. But yeah, it's a strenuous climb that last couple of feet up there. I think they're out of their minds.
All right, John, stay with us if you don't mind. We're going to say goodbye to our broadcast audience, but we're going to stay on stream, so don't hang up for us if you don't mind. Thank you.
And thanks for watching our breaking news coverage. I'm Cindy Hsu.
And I'm Jessica Moore. Our coverage of today's incident at the Empire State Building will continue on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. Many questions remain about security and how these two people were able to climb to the top of the Empire State Building antenna. We're digging into all of it. We'll have the latest on the news at 5 o'clock. Now back to your regular programming.
They're coming right back.
This
has been breaking news. CBS New York. Pretty insane stuff, y'all. Pretty insane stuff.
News in Manhattan at the Empire State Building, where it appears two people have climbed to the top of the spire with the banner Jim Smith and Chopper 2 over the scene right now. Jim, the good thing is we're just seeing the people come out on the observation deck, which is a great sign because obviously
business
when
back
the two people
back
were
to
on the
normal.
top of the spire and even coming down, it had to be cleared, just to make sure everybody's safe.
That's right. We just saw people start to make their way out onto the observation deck, so that would definitely be a sign that all is safe, that the two people have been taken into custody by the police department. Again, the observation deck was closed off and evacuated at some point during this incident. It began about 12 o'clock or just before 12 o'clock. Two people climbing to the very top of the spire, the antenna on the top of the Empire State Building. They approached the top or climbed to the top and hung out a banner. They were up there for at least a half hour before eventually climbing down. We did see NYPD personnel, those units specially trained in high-angle rescues, make their way up into the antenna area as well. It did appear they eventually came down with any type of incident. And again, they are currently in police custody. Back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you. Police sources confirm for us right now a man and a woman are in custody. Remarkably, they were uninjured. We saw the ambulance there on scene waiting to give them a medical exam because they were absorbing the radiation from that TV and radio transmission tower for about 30 minutes, as Jim said. But a man and woman now in custody. They climbed to the very top around noon today, stayed there for about 30 minutes, hung that banner talking about the power of love versus the love of power, came down, climbed a very precarious climb down. The man proposed to the woman. It looked like she said yes because she was looking at her ring, and apparently they were posting on Instagram during this entire thing. Police sources tell us they haven't verified the identity or they haven't officially connected the dots, but they do believe that these were the people posting on Instagram about this epic, as they call it, proposal at the very top of the Empire State Building, but a dangerous climb, life-threatening, to be honest, with everyone who's watching, and from the experts we've been speaking with who talk about how they had to undergo professional training to be able to climb to the top of this antenna, only to make necessary repairs. They would go up with at least two people to make sure everyone was safe. They would lock into each ladder prong. They would make sure that everything was fine so that if they happened to slip, they would only slip a couple of feet. John Cleary, are you still there on the phone with us?
I am.
All right. Talk to us a little bit about your overall assessment of this. Now, we've got the man and the woman in custody. Take us through what went through your mind when you got the call from one of our producers. Hey, you were a broadcast engineer. You know this tower. 2 people have climbed up here. They've raised a flag. What is going through your mind? Did you think it was a joke?
I did at first when I got the call, because I'm not at home in the city, so
Yeah.
I'm not near a TV right now, so I didn't see it. And then when I looked at it on the phone, I'm like, these people are out of their minds. I mean, obviously they have some kind of not formal training for climbing a tower, but I would say they climbed something before this, whether it was a mountain or a cliff or something like that. They seem to be pretty agile. Climbing that tower or any tower is quite strenuous. So these people had to be in very good shape to do this. They made it up and they made it down without any catastrophe. So I would have to say they've climbed something in their lives before the Empire State Building tower. It's a dangerous environment up there. Things are sharp, things are hot. There's power everywhere. There's a lot of RF energy up there. Touching the wrong thing could be catastrophic.
I'm going to pause. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to pause that for a second because I do think I have the people. Give me a second here. This is just a theory. This is my own theory. I have not pulled up any media talking about this at all. Okay, but I think this could be the 2 people that were a part of a Netflix series or Netflix documentary called Skywalkers, if I'm correct. Hold on, let me make sure. It was either Skywalker's A Love Story. Yeah, I think it's Skywalker's A Love Story. So this could very well be these 2, okay? These 2 right here. It looks like the physique of, like, physically they look like the 2. They're on top of a very tall building right here as well. They are Russian, okay? They are Russian climbers who fell in love while actually scaling the world's skyscrapers. So Angela Nicolau and Ivan Birkus could very well be the 2 people that were at the top on these, atop of the Empire State Building. Okay, so I feel like it would be safe to say they fell in love while climbing. He proposed. So I think that this is the actual couple. Look, and then they get all these crazy photos done. You know what I mean? They got their drone out, and their drone will fly around and take a whole bunch of photos. She'll do some sort of ballet type of move or something of that sort, right? They'll do some crazy act for these photos. Look at these crazy photos. Like, look at this crazy photo itself. I mean, that's insane, right? So, and they've done this all over the world. Just so you know, they're known for going to different places all over the world, climbing skyscrapers all the time. They'll camp out. Even in the documentary, they show how they do it. They would go and they'll hide out, so on and so forth. Sometimes they'll be in there for days, several days before they actually go and get them, right? Go and, climb the actual building, okay? But I'm assuming, this is just me saying this, shooting from the hip, it's these 2. Well, that doesn't help. I was hoping that was going to blow up. So Angela and Ivan could very well be these guys. Okay? It's a very fascinating documentary. But if you have a fear of heights, it may not be the best one for you to watch. Okay? Because a lot of times it's a lot of that. Okay? It's on their Instagram already. What's their Instagram? That's what I'd like to know. What is their Instagram? What could be their Instagram? But I'm assuming it's those 2. I'm assuming. I could be absolutely wrong. All right. So it is them. I'm right. Okay, cool. All right. Hey. Gang, gang, gang. So Angela, congratulations, Angela. Congratulations, Angela. Oh, they already have their photos and everything. Dang. Yep. Yep. Here they are. Wow. They moved fast, yo. Everything for hold on. Here they are. So, Angela and her boyfriend, or now fiance, Birkus. I guess he goes by Birkus. He's a musician. So there you have it. Pretty insane stuff, right? Pair of masked daredevils were spotted climbing to the very top of the Empire State Building with a protest banner. I mean, I don't know if that's a protest banner. It just said they just talked about the power of love, right? This is the power of love. You know what I mean? Like that's all they did, right? Don't need money, don't need fame. Don't need a credit card to ride this train, right? The power of love. That's all it is. Both climbers, who appeared to be a man and woman, clearly it was, okay, were seen wearing masks on the spire of the building, which reaches a staggering over 1,400 feet, okay, as they were clinging to the building spire. The pair flew a banner which read, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace." That doesn't sound like, I mean, I'm going to be real. That does not give me a protesting vibe. I just feel like they're just saying, give peace a chance, right? But anyway, or give love a chance, right? As they were seen clinging to the building spire, I already said that. The banner's message appeared to be a modified quote from the British politician William Gladstone and is often misattributed to rock star Jimi Hendrix. Interesting. Excuse me while I kiss this guy, right? So it remains unclear how they managed to scale the iconic Manhattan building after flying the banner around midday. One climber began to descend before heading back toward the top. The pair began to descend after around 12:30 p.m. before reaching a lower platform where one climber dropped to one knee and proposed to the other. The climber appeared to say yes to the astonishing proposal, as a helicopter circling the building captured the couple embracing, and they removed their masks to share a kiss. Daw. So it's these guys that were on this Netflix documentary, like I said before. So again, and yes, Raven, I agree. I agree with the message. I think that we do, we gotta get back to loving each other again. You know what I mean? So she posted a video of herself on top of the Empire State Building around midday. She posted her Angela has posted herself scaling tall buildings and performing high hair-raising acts while donning a black cat face covering. She's often videoed and pictured atop the terrifying tall buildings with musician Birkus. The pair appear to be a couple. They are. Well, I mean, now they're about to have kids. Well, if they choose to have kids, but they're about to, they're together, right? They're about to get married. So, yeah, they were streaming this. Currently at the Empire State Building, you can watch the city webcam, or you can watch on the city webcam. That is crazy. Onlookers, people checking it out. Pretty shocking stuff, y'all. Pretty shocking stuff. Okay, so this extended my time a little bit, so I'm going to have to get back into what we were mainly here for. So we got to get into Nancy Guthrie stuff, all right? But that is very interesting that,
World knows peace, or
that this whole thing is a real thing right now. Okay? Interesting. Very, very interesting. So that happened. Very interesting. So we got to get into the Nancy Guthrie stuff, like we were going to talk about before. Unfortunately, I kind of have to get things moving pretty quickly. So we got to get into the main topic right here. And the thing is that, FBI is saying that the ransom notes are not real. And let me tell you something. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, not one bit. Why? 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 You ask? Hold on. Rebel, Ride, thank you so much for the love. Watch phone news, condemn the couple. I might swing back to that in a little bit. But I got to get this piece in, and I've already extended the time I was supposed to be off a little bit ago, but this was breaking news, so I wanted to share that with you guys. And of course, they're bashing them. What else is new? What else is new? That's the narrative that they're going to put out. Obviously, it's dumb for them to climb that. I really do. I don't think that was a protest sign, to be honest. I think that was a sign basically saying, hey, we must love each other. You see what I'm saying? So, just so you know. But I got to get into this, okay? Because I gotta do this quickly. All right? So, I'm not surprised, okay, about this fugazi, these fake ransom notes actually being fake. I'm not surprised, not one bit, one bit whatsoever. Let me be real. It'd be a different story. I think there would have been a different result if these notes were actually real. Okay? I think there would be a different story, a different reaction, and a different outcome if these ransom notes were actually real. That's just what I'm going to say. Okay? And I'm hoping that they're taking the time, maybe a side group is doing their due diligence on finding out who these people are that wrote these fake ass ransom notes. Okay? And yeah, yes, it is disappointing, SoCal. Okay? It is disappointing. But at the same time, if they're fake, they're fake. Right? If they're fake, they're fake. So we got to get into Reuters was the one to break this information. So we got to get into this. Okay? So, all three kidnapping related messages that have surfaced in the news media reports, about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, okay, have been deemed by the FBI to be fake communications. And this is what an FBI official told Reuters yesterday. So the FBI assessment of inauthenticity pertains to the two ransom notes reported in early February, days after Nancy Guthrie vanished, and a third, more recent message from someone claiming to know the kidnappers' identities. So that means, okay, cabrón, just so you know, that means the people that sent the ransom notes over to TMZ, they be fake, and all the other ones that they sent to either the FBI like the Guthrie family or to other news outlets, they be fake too. So all the ones where they're like, she's buried in nature, or I know who he is and I know where she is, and I have video in a phone that I hid in a great place that no one else will know, but it's easy to access, but nobody knows where it is. And it shows last moments of her with the kidnapper on the day that she most likely died. Oh, by the way, I know their ages, I know their names, and I got their addresses too. But just give me some monies and I'll give it all to you too. Guess what? That'd be a lie too, baby. Frustrating, okay? Frustrating, okay? So let's see. None of the ransom notes are believed to be genuine, the FBI official told Reuters, speaking on condition of anonymity. Okay, that's fine. They can't. They're not going to give out their name. They're like, oh, it's John Black and so on and so. No. Okay, so they're hidden behind just FBI official. That's fine. A second law enforcement source familiar with the matter confirmed the FBI assessment of these ransom notes. Well, that's good. Now we can stop obsessing about it and get back to just trying to find out where she is, right? The disclosure that the FBI has discounted the veracity of these 3 notes, 2 of which were widely reported to have been communications from kidnappers, seemed to raise doubts about investigators' fundamental premise that Nancy Guthrie was abducted for ransom to begin with. So, spokesperson for the Pima County Sheriff's Department, Boo, which is leading the overall investigation, Boo, declined to comment, citing its argument or its agreement to refer all inquiries regarding regarding ransom notes to the FBI. Okay. So this is, they're going like, hey, everything that has to do with the ransom notes, we ain't got them. We don't know nothing about them. They are over to the feds. Give them to the feds. Like, ask your questions to the feds. We ain't got nothing for you. Okay? We don't have any updates other than this is still an active investigation. This is what the spokesperson for the sheriff, Thanos Nanos, Boo, said. She added that DNA samples and video evidence collected in the case remain under forensic analysis. So they've been still doing forensic analysis for 4 months. 4 months. Boo. All 3 messages in question were initially delivered to various media outlets, including celebrity news site TMZ.com, before they were turned over to authorities for review. So, of course, Savannah Guthrie, who we already know who she is, has referenced ransom demands in video messages she and her siblings have posted on social media, urging kidnappers to open a direct line of communication with her family and pleading for her mother's return, saying in one video, "We will pay," which, by the way, they say that none of the video or none of the 2 ransom notes that talk about saying that she was buried with nature and all that, and they're saying, oh, lo siento, that she passed and it wasn't our doing kind of thing. None of them, which we learned recently through Ashley Banfield, they're saying none of those ransom notes ever talk about a ransom for her body to be returned to the Guthrie family. So maybe she just said that out of desperation, like, we will pay you. We just want our mama back. We will pay you, right? So the elder Guthrie, okay, so cryptocurrency payment went unclaimed. So the Guthrie, the elder Guthrie, who had been in frail health, I think they're talking about Nancy Guthrie here, okay, with limited mobility, was last seen alive in her home, which we already know about that, okay, spending the evening with her older daughter, Annie Guthrie, and her son-in-law, Tommaso, okay, Tomato Tommaso, as some of you guys would say. The FBI, which has taken the lead in examining any purported ransom notes or other communications from suspects in the case, had previously declined to say publicly whether any of the messages under review were considered credible. Investigators determined that the first 2 originated from the same sender, the official told Reuters, though how that conclusion was drawn was not specified. The first note, according to TMZ, demanded a sum in millions to be paid in cryptocurrency and set two deadlines for payment on February 5th and February 9th. The second note was reported by NBC News last week to have referred to Guthrie at that point as having died without making an apology or demanding any payment for the return of her body. Here we go. Without making an apology or demanding any payment for the return of her body. Okay? In a bid to test the authenticity of the first note and possibly trace the ransom demands back to the perpetrators, the FBI early on deposited a small amount of cryptocurrency in an account as instructed in the message. So they did indeed put money in an account. Maybe it wasn't millions, but they put in some money in there. But the money was left untouched in the account and never taken, the official said. Now, I'm going to be real. If I was, which I never would be, but think about if you were in the minds of a kidnapper, of a bad guy, and you're sitting there going, give me the money and you'll get your mama, right? And I want millions of dollars, and you just put in like $250. Are you going to touch that account? Think of being in the mind of a bad guy. That's not what I asked for. I asked for millions of dollars. So hail to the no. You got another thing coming that I'm just going to take these scrappings here. $250. You got another thing. Come on, man. Come on, man. $250. Stop it now. I asked for millions. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to go and grab that. You're going to let it sit. And so they did. Just saying. Moving on. Okay. Left untouched. Okay. It was on the basis, and by other unspecified means, that the FBI reached the conclusion that the two ransom notes that it determined to be of a common origin were nevertheless sent by a person or persons not actually connected to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The FBI has additionally discounted the authenticity of the third note that TMZ reported it received last week from someone claiming to know the identities of Nancy's abductors and have a video of the main guy involving in her kidnapping, as well as the victim on the day she actually died. The FBI official did not reveal how investigators ruled out the third note was fake. Reacting to last week's ransom note headlines from NBC News, the home network of Today, Savannah Guthrie took time on her show to appeal to the public again for answers to the fate of her mother, urging anyone who might know something to come forward. Guthrie also reminded viewers of the $1 million reward being offered by her family, who she described as being in agony since her mother vanished. Authorities confirmed soon after her disappearance that DNA tests showed that blood found on Nancy Guthrie's front porch came from her. Let me say that again. The blood found on Nancy Guthrie's front porch came from her. This is after DNA tests were done. The blood on the front porch of her home is actually Nancy Guthrie's. Media attention on the case has waned considerably since mid-February, when the sheriff and FBI released surveillance footage of an armed prowler in a ski mask shown tampering with Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera shortly before she was abducted. But DNA samples obtained from a glove found near the home and resembling the prowler was last seen wearing, failed to produce a match against known genetic profiles in a national database. So Savannah Guthrie later said that her family was still blowing on the embers of hope, that her mother was still alive, while also acknowledging that she may already be gone. So again, when it comes to this, the notes are fake. The notes are not real. I know that will be upsetting for a lot of people, but I am thankful. And I'm okay. First off, I'm hopeful that they're doing their due diligence, right? I'm hoping that FBI, whoever else was doing whatever they needed to do, actually did their due diligence. Really went through all that stuff to really make sure. To really make sure that those things were fake. Because there's no way that they can come back from that. Once they say the notes are fake, then they must be fake. There's no going back. So hopefully they're on point. But that also is a good thing because it makes us focus on what's really going on, which is finding Nancy Guthrie. The only thing that's really sad about it, though, as well, is that there are no breadcrumbs so far. There are no breadcrumbs. You have a photo of a guy taking off her doorbell cam with the light in his mouth, looking like a damn fool, trying to grab shrubbery and all that, right? But other than that, that's all we got. So again, and I think this criminal is a dumbass. I do think that this criminal's terrible. But there's still a good possibility that this criminal might have been knowing what he was doing. I don't know. It just seems weird. I still think that this guy's a dumbass. But anything's possible. Anything's possible. Here's something. Because I do need to show this. I forgot to show this to you guys yesterday. But we need to talk about this too. And this is a massive problem in my personal opinion. Because you got the one of the guys from the Cajun Navy that went out. They literally went out. And they were trying to help find Nancy Guthrie. They were denied. They were turned away by Sheriff Thanos Nanos, which, by the way, Sheriff Nanos is trash. Just so that you guys know. All right? But this is an interview that was just done about a day or two ago. I have to show this to you guys because this is very aggravating. It's very frustrating. It's very messed up. I still don't understand. If they have the skills to help find someone who could be out there in the middle of nowhere, why wouldn't you utilize their expertise and their experience?
His name is Brian Trasher, United Cajun Navy Vice President. Great to see you. So you are not in Arizona right now. You are in Minnesota. I can see you're in your car, lots of lightning behind you. What are you doing up there?
Yeah, so I got talked into following some of our storm chasers up here, and we just intercepted a tornado outside of Hitterdall, Minnesota. You'll probably see that report come out of the National Weather Service if it hasn't already. But we're out here following some lines of convection and hopefully be here if it hits any populated areas.
All right. Well, we will certainly pay attention to that. But let's get to what we had you on to talk about tonight. The Cajun Navy, of course, for months has been trying to help Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. You submitted a detailed plan of how you would assist in the search. You said, we're not trying to get in the way. We just want to give you extra resources to find Nancy Guthrie. Can you tell us some of the ways you think you'll be able to help and why do you think that's still being rejected?
Well, I don't know exactly how many times it was rejected. We do know that there was a sort of like a blanket declination from the sheriff's office to accept any outside help. As far as, what we do, what we could bring to the table, mostly surrounded our ability to deploy canine teams and drone teams to the area. we really felt strongly that there was a good chance that she could have ended up somewhere along the border, just because there's a lot of human remains that get found down there. We have a lot of people who are familiar with that area and are good at searching. And so again, just to be a force multiplier, extra set of eyes, ears, and hands and feet at this point, just to try to bring some closure to the Guthrie family. And it makes it even harder when you see Savannah on TV all the time and knowing what she's going through. She's putting on a professional face, but behind her eyes, you can tell, she's still really suffering.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awful. As she says, she's in agony. Her whole family's in agony. Still very few answers about what has happened to Nancy Guthrie. But, in terms of what has been happening with the investigation, and clearly there's still no arrest for a suspect. We haven't heard much in terms of developments in this case. What do you think the Cajun Navy could do that the Sheriff's Department has either not done or still needs help with outside of what you just laid out? I mean, there's been a lot of conversation and disappointment, both from local law enforcement and from the FBI, about the way this investigation has been handled from the beginning. Allegedly leads not followed up on, not enough search even directly behind the house. Neighbors who say that, they believe that this is going nowhere as a result of the media no longer really being in the neighborhood and pressuring the Sheriff's Department. So what kind of hope can you give those who are looking for answers, and especially to Savannah and her family?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to frame it in the context of a juxtaposition of what we would do versus the sheriff's office, because we're not privy to everything that they've done or what they may not have done. But like I said, we're very good at search and rescue. We have a lot of resources we could have brought to the area, other partner groups that we work with in the area or willing to come to the area and help us search. I think early on, when we were closer to the abduction date, it would have been a lot more beneficial. At this point, I mean, I hate to say it, but at this point, you'd just be looking for remains, which would be valuable to the family to be able to have that closure. But that for some reason, they just decided they were not going to take the outside help. So we just kind of went back to what we're doing. We're preparing for hurricane season 2026. And right now, we're at the tail end of tornado season 2026. So we're
Let me just say this, okay, guys? This is the thing that's very frustrating to me, because this does not show this is not an example of a leader. I'm not talking about Cajun Navy. I'm talking about Sheriff Nanos. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get on him like that. I'm sure he's got a lot on his plate, but this is a massive, massive, high-profile case. And instead of him actually going like, yeah, we could utilize all the help and all hands on deck, he says, no, Pima County Sheriff's Department has it. No worries. He has it. That's not a sign of a good leader. A good leader would know when they do need help, when to delegate, who does what. And if you are out of manpower and you need a hand in doing certain things, like a massive search for someone like Nancy Guthrie, you go and you ask for help. Yeah, Jessica, I still don't understand why they didn't ask. Why didn't they go to Cajun Navy and ask for the help? Or when they said, we're here to help, and they go, okay, cool. You guys can be over here. Stay in your lane. We're going to stay in ours. Respect our boundaries. We'll respect yours. If you find something, let us know. And if we find something, we'll let you know too. Other than that, keep doing your thing, right? But no, they ran him off. They turned him away and ran him off, just like he ran off media. And I get it. It was turning into a media circus out there. People live streaming all day long, media all over both houses. And I'm sure the Guthrie family wanted some privacy and wanted some moments of peace as well, not having cameras all up in their face and everything. I get those things. But at the same time, those people out there were keeping Nancy Guthrie's name alive. And as soon as he started doing all that sideways crap, pushing them off the road, outside of the house and doing all this extra passive aggressive crap, what ended up happening? Those people left. They had to. There's no point. As soon as they started doing all these, establishing these boundaries and everything, media just packed up their stuff and left. So this is to me, this is very weird. Very, very weird. I wonder why Nanos did what he did. Okay. And apparently TMZ said something about the ransom notes and saying that the ransom notes are not fake. Hold on. If they actually did a video like that, that is messy. Okay. I'm gonna look though. Let's play this.
The Cajun Navy is doing Cajun Navy things.
So in terms of people who may be watching this who say, well, the sheriff's department they're law enforcement professionals. Who is this group, the Cajun Navy, who thinks that they should come in and be involved here? Can you talk about your professionalism and the type of training you have with your volunteers?
What the hell?
Yeah, we put a lot of resources into training our volunteers, but also you have to understand that a lot of the tier 1 volunteers that we use in operations like this mostly are either current or former law enforcement or combat veterans, people who have a lot of experience in high trauma situations, high pressure situations. So it's not just, like a guy taking a week off of work that normally sells insurance, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not down on people that sell insurance. I'm just saying that people that don't have any experience at all, that's not the kind of people we would bring to this operation.
Yeah. In other words, he's bringing in people who know exactly what they're doing. They're properly vetted. They have the skills, right? And you would hope that they would go scour the desert, okay, search high and low to try to figure out what happened to Nancy, right? Happy days. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Nanos wanted to coast out till retirement, and he wasn't going to let a big case ruin that for him. He sabotaged everything. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for the super chat. I mean, like I said, I feel that Nanos has a whole lot of explaining to do, but we're not going to hear anything because no one's actually pushing. If you notice, people always talk about we need change in the world, all that stuff. We don't see any people stepping forward. We don't see any people out here, trying to push for a revolution. Same thing with this. Thanos Nanos is trash. So why hasn't anybody stepped forward and tried to say something about that? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, sugar. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sebastian Rogers case as well, right? They ran out of there too, which is weird. That doesn't make any sense to me, right? Natural Mystic, you got a point there too. You definitely got a point. You said, just look the other way. Just look for her anyway. Sorry. The police can't stop you from searching. You got a point on that too. So does that I guess that would be the little bit of pushback I would have for them. Why would you have to ask for their permission if you are searching in areas that are public domain, right? It's not like you're on private property. I'm sure you could look into that before you actually go and search in a particular area. But if you're out there just looking in the desert, pay Thanos Nanos no mind and keep searching. You feel me? That's just what I think. Okay? But we got to get over here. I just find it very strange that you got Cajun Navy coming out here saying, hey, we tried and we were kicked out. We were told to leave, kick rocks. I think that's weird. And I truly think that there needs to be some sort of, I'm not saying that there needs to be like, I don't know. I'm not saying like a revolution, but there needs to be a people coming together and saying Nanos needs to be demoted or fired or dethroned because he, for some odd reason, feels like he's the king of this town, and he's not. There needs to be an uprising of some sort, and I don't mean an uprising of violence. I'm just saying an uprising of people saying, "Yo, if this is how you're handling their grandma, what are you going to do with my? What are you going to do if my kids were in trouble? What are you going to do if my gam was in trouble? How are you handling other things? Are you just doing things under the table, or are you really doing things by the book?" You see what I'm saying? This should be a perfect example of how he is handling. He could be potentially handling other cases, which is extremely lazy, lackadaisical, and complacent. I don't like that. None of us should like that. Just saying that out loud. But here we go. TMZ really did. They really did come out. And he's saying, hold on, I want to make sure that the title, oh, you can't see the title. But the title says, Nancy Guthrie update. The FBI just told me the notes aren't fake. What the Please make this make sense. The FBI just told him that the notes aren't fake, but Reuters and others are saying that the notes are fake. What in the is going on now, guys? Come on now. Someone please talk to me. What in the hell is going on now?
Reuters came out with a story today saying that they have FBI sources who say that the FBI has determined that the two ransom notes, alleged ransom notes, one of which we received along with two Tucson television stations, and the second, which one of those TV stations received, were not legitimate. And also that the demand letters that we had been receiving
are fake.
Somebody demanding 1 Bitcoin in return for saying who the kidnappers are, identifying them, that too is not legitimate. So we decided that we would pursue this and see if in fact this is real, that they've discounted it. It's not what we had heard, but it was possible, so we made calls. So I am going to tell you that I spoke with 2 people in the FBI, one of whom is involved in the investigation, one of whom is an official. And the official in the FBI who asked I don't use this person's name said this: it is more likely than not that the 2 ransom notes are real. Further in that conversation.
Hold on. Who are the people? Who is the sources?
The official in the FBI who asked I don't use this person's name said this.
Hold on.
To tell you that I spoke with 2 people
2
in the FBI, one of whom is involved in the investigation.
One that's involved.
One of whom is an official.
And one who is an official. All right.
And the official in the FBI who asked I don't use this person's name said this. It is
not the person that's in the investigation, the official that just has information off to the side. You understand that, right? Okay, bet. Let's continue.
More likely than not that the 2 ransom notes are real. Further in that conversation, this person said, they are more legitimate than not. That's a quote. Now, they haven't determined it is for sure real, but they definitely have not determined it is for sure fake.
Okay.
And as for the demand letters that we've been getting, where somebody is asking for 1 Bitcoin, they say it is less likely that those letters are real, but they have not discounted that either. So I think this goes to
my God.
legitimacy really of the ransom notes, because that's really what's important here. We have told you before that we had as many as 5 FBI agents on phone calls at the same time with our IT team trying to find out who sent these ransom notes or these alleged ransom notes. And they have not been able to do that. We are told today that they are still pursuing those 2 notes, the 2 alleged ransom notes. They have not determined, I want to repeat, they're real, but they have definitely not determined that they're not, and they lean more toward legit than not legit. Now, the official I talked to said, look, this is a big organization, and there are multiple agents on this case. And if you talk to all of them, their opinions are going to vary. And so it depends on...
Why would they have varying opinions about an ongoing investigation? They should all pretty much be on the same page. So why would they go out of their way to basically say, oh yeah, all of them are fake, but then somebody else within the FBI go and tell Harvey, oh no, they real. At least 2 of them are real. Like what? Cash Patel, like I feel like it should all be there should be a consensus, right? A general consensus on the information, especially when it's big cases like this. Now, don't get me wrong. The FBI could be run like a high school as well. That's possible. It could be run like a high school where it's just rumors flooding around and all that. But you'd think that it wouldn't be like that because they're the mother-loving FBI. You understand that, right? So either Harvey is not telling the truth and making the FBI look like Boo-Boo the Fool, or the FBI is just Boo-Boo the Fool.
Who you talk to. And that seems real enough that not everybody would agree. But the official position of the FBI is they have not discounted these 2 ransom notes.
Ay, caramba.
So the reason I think this is important is that you look at the first note where they make that demand of $4 million, and then the second, then they say if you don't meet the deadline, it goes to $6 million. And if you don't pay the $6 million by the deadline, we will kill Nancy Guthrie. And then the second note that the Tucson station received, we didn't. They don't ask for any money. They just inform Savannah Guthrie and her family that Nancy had died. And that seems to be why Savannah came out almost the next day and said, look, we will pay you money to know where our mother is. In other words, to bring her body back. And it now kind of makes sense. The reason she said that is because that second letter did not ask for any money. It was almost like, these kidnappers were not banking on the fact that Nancy Guthrie would die in their watch, freaked out, didn't ask for anything, and just went underground. And she's saying, no, we will pay you, but they have never to be heard from again. So that's kind of the bottom line to this, which is the official position of the FBI is those ransom notes are more likely than not real, but they still don't know, and they are still looking at those notes. And the demand letters, less so. They would not give me a 70-30 or anything like that, but merely less likely that they're legit than the ransom notes. So that's where we are right now. And where we are right now, frankly, is where we've been the last 4 months, which is the FBI just doesn't know who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie.
Something's very frustrating about this. I'll just say that. I feel like this is just very strange. I'm sorry. I just find this to be extremely strange. the fact that you have Reuters saying one thing, and then you have now TMZ coming back and saying, well, the notes that we received, they believe to not be real, but those other ones may be real, does not help the situation at all. Here's the other thing, too. This also shows, if this is true, if what he's claiming is true, this also says that the FBI is an absolute mess. That's basically it. The FBI is an absolute mess. Because if you have an official that doesn't want to say anything, doesn't want to be, like two different people. Reuters had their official say, oh, I want to remain anonymous. This happened with TMZ as well. Their official was like, I'd like to remain anonymous as well. That clearly shows to me that they're just out here. It's just rumors. So now it's the question of, who do you believe? Do you believe the information that's being told by the official that spilled the tea with Reuters? Or do we believe the official that spilled the tea with TMZ? One thing is for sure, though. They're basically saying that TMZ's note ain't real. The ransom notes that they've been receiving aren't real. But the other two could very well be real. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. At this point, anything's possible. At this point, anything's bloody possible. Yeah, Tammy, I agree. I think there needs to be a presser that is months. That's long overdue. That's months overdue, guys, to have a presser. Thanos Nanos needs to do the right thing and have a damn presser and let people know what's going on. But he's a butthole. So I don't know if we're going to hear anything from him because Sheriff Nanos is trash. So there's that. Let me get this poll here. Where did it go? No. Okay. I said, do you think Tyler Robinson did it? 53% of you guys say no. You don't think he did it. That's out of 553 votes. That's crazy, guys. That's absolutely crazy. But guys, I gotta wrap up the show, unfortunately. All right. I'm a little bit over time. All right, but I gotta get going. So, there was that breaking news with the Empire State Building, so I had to stay for that. So, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Of course, if there's more information, I'll let you guys know about Nancy Guthrie and all the other things that are going on. But that is just insane. I will say that. That's just insane. I'll let you know if there's any more developing information, okay? So anyway, hit that like button down below. Crush the do it to do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow. Subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Subscribe to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well, please and thank you. All right? Hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out my GoFundMe, which is pinned to the bottom of the chat. And it's in the description box down below. We're a few $100s away from our goal. So if you can, please do me that solid. Contribute, donate if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated so I can build this wall. Anyway, check out my Patreon. Check out PascalMerch.com. And I'll be talking to you guys very soon. All right? Time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another.